Hi everyone, this is Arcadius and welcome back to Naval. Today we will be reviewing the Japanese battleship Fuso, I have the sister ship Yamashiro. Now this ship is actually really good, believe it or not, and she was actually one of my favorite ships. I have a ton of games in her. Um, since then I have actually not been so fond of her, but that's just because I've found other ships I enjoy more. That doesn't mean she changed in any way. So let's take a look to see what we have. Alright, so we have 58,100 health, 33% torpedo resistance, up to 12 inches of armor, mainly on the gun barbettes, and it looks like the broadside is the belt armor. Yeah, the belt armor is 305 millimeters as well, so 12 inches. It's actually quite easy to citadel the ship if you are fully broadside. So, like I said, that's another trait of the Japanese battleship line. If you get broadside, you will most likely be citadeled. There are there's really only one ship, that being Nagato, that can kind of be trolly about that. But all the others, if you get broadside, you will probably most likely definitely be citadeled. So keep that in mind. For guns, she has 14-inch guns. She has two more turrets than Congo. So she has two in the front, one there, and then two in the rear as well. So she has a total of 12 14-inch guns, which is the same number as New Mexico, but we'll get to her in another video. So she has pretty powerful armament. Shell velocity is pretty good as well. Not the best. There's definitely better. But it's still pretty good as well. Gun range is 21.8 kilometers, so really far as well. Secondaries go up to 5 kilometers. You have casemates, possibly 6-inch maybe. And then you have some 5-inch, there's actually a double 5-inch all the way up here that you can use as well. There's another one right there. Again, secondaries are definitely not going to be a focus of the Japanese battleship line. There are a few exceptions. Kind of, I guess you could say, but at this point, they're not really that powerful. So your ship does go at 24.5 knots, so she is relatively quick on her feet compared to something like New Mexico, which goes 21 knots at best, I believe. So that's pretty good as well. However, she is really long, so she turns like a semi-truck, and if you don't know what I mean, it means she turns really bad. Alright, anti-aircraft defense. She actually doesn't have terrible AA. Yes, the range is a little low, but the damage itself is pretty good. And if you upgrade that, that's pretty substantial. Obviously, you're not going to knock down enough planes to stop them from striking you, but you're at matchmaking tier 6.2. So you have Independences and Roihos and Furiouses, which don't have all that many aircraft. So the more you can shoot down, the less they have to use against you and the rest of your team. So every little bit counts. Let's see here, what else? Concealment. Well, as you can see, as you have your tower to the moon, your concealment's probably terrible. Yeah, 18.1 kilometers, which is just short of your actual range. So as you're literally going to be the first one seen on the map, just accept it and move on. She does carry a fighter as well. You can see the stats there. She has 3 fighters. Mainly, like I said, the only good thing for fighters is that they occasionally split up a group and distract their aim, but they don't actually do much to shoot them down. So they're pretty much only good for spotting destroyers and torpedoes and stuff like that. Pretty much worthless at this point in the game. Regardless, you do still have it. A little tidbit about Fuso in real life. I believe, if my memory serves me right, when she was built, she was actually the largest ship in the world for quite a bit of time. Obviously, like I said, I haven't dug much into the history of this ship, besides just knowing the fate, being sunk in the Battle of Surigao Strait with her sister ship Yamashiro. Pretty good history if you follow this ship. So very interesting. Alright, so enough blabbering, let's toss into a game and see what we can do. Alright, here we have ourselves a game. We got one carrier, it looks like 5 battleships, a couple cruisers, and a few destroyers. So actually a relatively good balanced game, however I do wish the map was different. Alright, so for starting armaments, you can either have high explosive or armor piercing per usual. High explosive can be actually really good, so I'm going to actually start out with that. However, armor piercing is definitely good as well, but I would say get a little bit closer. Alright, so I do have health buffs and speed buffs applied at this time, so keep that in mind, that these are not the base stats. And let's start going along. The very interesting thing is that with this gun layout that the ship has, 3 turrets are able to go from one side to the other without having to do complete 180 degrees, while the other do, and that goes the same for rear-facing arcs as well. So no matter which way you turn, you'll at least have 6 14-inch guns. Let's see here. There's the full broadside. Broadside angle. That angle is too much. If you shoot right under the front turrets at this kind of angle, you will citadel hurt, or at least get major pen damage. So let's see here. Normandy is going to get in our way. You do want to try and upgrade your maneuverability as much as you can. Your speed's fine, but your maneuverability is what's really going to kill you. Because if you're trying to dodge torpedoes or anything like that, good luck, because she's absolutely huge. You can get a good kind of look at it from here. Alright, so there we go. There's your detectability. I can see her from the other side of the map. I'm going to actually slow down to half here and stay at range. Your accuracy is not terrible. You also have to keep in mind though that you're putting down an entire shotgun's worth of 14-inch shells, so one at least has to hit. And this time we got 2 hits and a fire. So that's good. I'm not going to try and hit that destroyer from this range. No way in heck. But we'll try for the Queen Elizabeth. Tier 6 and 7 are some of my favorites. 6 because you have... Ooh, another fire. Just really, really powerful ships, but they're powerful in different ways. For instance, you have Queen Elizabeth, which doesn't have many guns. It only has 8. But they are 15-inch guns, which means that they can overmatch the bows of other battleships. Or you have Fuso, which has... Or in New Mexico, which have a lot of 14-inch guns that can do a ton of damage, but they cannot overmatch battleships. And then you have ships like Dunkirk, which don't have many guns at all. They don't have guns that can overmatch, but they are a whole lot faster than Queen Elizabeth's or New Mexico's or ships like that. So it's really whichever playing style works best for you. It's very varied, for lack of a better word, and I enjoy that. And that also is pretty true up until Tier 7. However, Tier 7 you start getting a lot more powerful carriers. So you have to have a more focus on AA than surface combat. And then Tier 8s, they're all pretty much the same. Just lots of armor, big guns, aircraft. But there's no real variation. So Tier 6 is probably my favorite. There's a lot of good ships at this tier too. Alright, so right now we're just using high explosive because we're still at range and they're about on targets, and like I said just a moment ago, you cannot overmatch battleship armor at that range. You may get plunging fire, but 8 out of 10 times it'll probably just ricochet off the guns anyways. Good thing about having a 12 14-inch guns to a side, if you have high explosive loaded and you shoot a destroyer, you can one-shot it. Alright, moving back to the battleships. They're still kind of bowing on me, unfortunately. Let's see if we can light up this New Mexico a little bit here. Let's go back down to half speed, because I don't actually want to get too close to them. Let's see here. I'm getting some pretty decent high explosive damage. Not as much as you might see in other ships, obviously. But it's not terrible. If this Fuso goes broadside, I can show you the lack of armor, I guess you could say. But let's shoot this high explosive salvo at Queen Elizabeth first. Might be able to get her. Yeah, we got her. Alright, so Fuso's giving us enough broadside that I feel comfortable enough to shoot armor piercing, and we'll probably get the citadels. She doesn't have much armor left, or health left, though. Can't talk. But this should be able to finish her off. Or she could just barely survive. But I did get a good chunk of damage on her, as you saw. Now the question is, will she go down to someone else? Yeah, it looks like she has 2 fires on it. She will go down, definitely. Alright, so this New Mexico is giving us broadside now. It looks, are we going to be under attack from the carrier? Wait, Citadel, yeah, we are. New Mexico, that's good. You can't do that very easily. Alright, so let's go take out the carrier because we're going to be under attack now. And that Yamashiro is actually still alive. Alright, so I'm going to do 1 turret towards this ship because that'll be enough to sink her. Oh, why are we still only going half? There we go. And let's put the rest towards the Normandy there. I'm not too worried about it. It's almost 15,000 damage, so really good there. Alright, so now we're coming under focus of quite a few battleships, which is not something you really want in this ship. Let's see if we can take out the Normandy first. She's not the biggest threat. Oh, actually she's turning now, so that'll probably all miss. Or not do a lot. Oh, actually that was pretty solid. What kind of carrier we got? Royho. Alright, so that's a 1-shot kill. But I want to work on these battleships a little bit more. But they don't have any good angles. So let's swing her around. You can't see my AA going to work. I do have 6 aircraft shot down. Obviously that doesn't sound like a lot, but Royho can only carry like, what, 48 or something like that? So that's almost a fifth of what she has altogether. Alright, that's enough out of you. You can go sink. Soon. I thought I would get her with that one, but it's whatever. Alright. You should be sunk now. Let's switch back to explosive. Because that New Mexico was bow tanking us, and looks like she still is from the mini-map. Alright, so what was our secondary range? 5.5? Maybe we can get in range. But I think I just want to finish her off with the guns. There we go, awesome. Now, I did lose quite a bit of health, and I think that was actually mainly from fires. Not from shells itself. That looks like there's... Yeah, that was a big hit. But that's fine. We're going to repair that because we don't need to burn. And of course, as soon as I repair, we are dropped by torpedo bombers that I was not aware of. So we'll probably get a flooding here. But we did get 2... Oh, hey, we survived. 2 fires on the New Mexico. So that'll help as well. Ooh, that accuracy was bad. I missed the entire ship. Alright, so... we'll leave our fighter up. It's taking out some of the torpedo bombers. I'm not too worried about it. Alright, hopefully we have a little bit better accuracy this time. Yeah, I guess. Alright, and now we only have the Dunkirk left. So you can see she's a really squishy ship. She's not entirely powerful and imposing as something like a German battleship, but she definitely has good guns. We're going to heal again. I probably could use armor piercing on this Dunkirk, but I only have... Oh, wow, okay, never mind. She's completely annihilated. Alright, so let's see how we did. We had 211,000 damage, 5 ships sunk, 118 shell hits, 18 aircraft shot down, so pretty good for a tier 6 battleship. 2 citadel hits, 10 fires, 2 modules destroyed, 3 defended caps, and 1 secondary hit. 7,200 base XP. We did 48,000 damage in high explosive, and we did 121,000 damage in armor piercing. Almost the same number of shells fired, but you can see that armor piercing did almost 3 times the amount of damage. So armor piercing definitely is good, but as you could see in certain instances, high explosive is better, specifically taking on bow tanking battleships. Fires themselves did 41,000 damage, so that also helps a lot. And then, let's see here, where did all of our damage come from? Torpedoes. Yeah, torpedoes are definitely an enemy of the ship. Flooding and fires, not much. Bombs didn't do that much either. And guns did a significant portion, but not as much as torpedoes. So you definitely want to try and have good AA defense or stay near ships that do, because torpedoes will work you down quite quickly. With that, I will wrap up today's video. Like I said, this ship used to be one of the ones I played all the time before I got better ships. So she definitely can be fun. You just have to understand that you are huge, you don't turn well, your armor's not that good compared to other battleships, but you have a lot of guns, you have a lot of range, and you have a lot of potential if you know how to use her. So keep that in mind when you start playing her. I will wrap up today's video now. If you liked it, make sure you like and subscribe for further content. And join me tomorrow while we go over Nagato. So again, thank you and have a good day.